So this is a video that is going to go out to the black sheep of the family. And if this video does not wake you up, then probably you're not ready. Your time hasn't come. So it's not personal. When your time comes, you'll get the reawakening that you're looking for, okay? Now, I exited a narcissistic family dynamic at some point, okay? But when I was leaving the unit, I did not know anything about being a black sheep of the family. So I was not even aware of these dynamics. So this revelation came to me. It was about a week or two later on that I had been the black sheep of the family without me knowing it, okay? And when I left the unit, the very first person that contacted me was the narcissistic parent. The question was, why did you leave the unit and what kind of message does this send to the other members? So in my mind, I was thinking that this whole entire family is in pieces. So there is no members, even if there are some members that they are not even in the group for years. Nobody ever questioned anything, nobody asked anything. They had not been involved in the unit for years. Nobody asked anything. When I left the unit, there was a problem. If the other members were out of the unit, nobody questioned them, nobody asked anything, nobody was even concerned. So that's when I started to get a little bit of, that thing came into my mind. I was like, there's something, what is not right here? So for me, I was leaving because I had discovered a lot of lies and manipulation, okay? So I was like, I'm not going to deal with this kind of manipulation. If this is what has been going on over these years, I was not going to deal with that. It's the reason as to why I got out of that unit, okay? I did not have anything to do with the black sheep. I didn't even know who was the black sheep of the family. But you see, when I was outside, I was contacted by the parent, and the parent asked me, why did you leave the unit? So this was like, there was that feeling of, you are not supposed to leave until I had said so. You know what I mean? So you were supposed to stay there. These other members, they cannot see that you've left. It is going to send a wrong message to them. What are they going to think? Then I was like, what about the other people who have left? There are so many people who are not even in the unit in the first place, who have just decided to live their own lives and they are not part of the group. Why are you not talking about them? That's what I was thinking in my mind. Then I was like, there's something wrong here. When God is starting to reveal some people, when your time has come, this is one of the biggest shocks that you're going to have as a black sheep. When your time has come, God is going to reveal a lot of people to you, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They're just going to keep on getting exposed all of a sudden. So I did some research, of course, about the black sheep of the family. No, I did some research about families, okay, dysfunctional families and everything. And that is when I came across the meaning and the word that has the black sheep of the family, okay? So I knew everything now. I understood everything clearly. But you see, why have I given you this little intro in this video? You will notice that the very first person who will contact you as a black sheep of the family, they are most usually the narcissistic parents. They are the very first ones to contact you, and there's a reason for that, So the black sheep, you are the one with the light, okay? And you have been the sacrifice. You did not know it, but you have been the sacrifice. You might have looked back in years and you noticed that a few years probably, depending on which family you came from, but you might have noticed back in your time, in a couple of years after you were born, very big things started happening in that family. So there was very big breakthroughs happening, especially with the narcissistic parent who was heading that family. And you might have thought that was a coincidence. You might have had parents who were probably broke. Back in the days, they could have been broke. Nothing was happening for them. And then for some reason, you're looking back, because in that time you didn't know that. But now you're looking back and you're thinking that, after a couple of years, your parents are telling you some stories. When you were born, there was about 5 years later, maybe 6 years later, they got a very big breakthrough. Something very big happened in that family. Maybe they got a lot of money. They accumulated a lot of wealth, and all of a sudden things took off for them. It was just a few years after you were born. And now you're looking back and you're thinking that, oh, you know who you are eventually, and you're thinking that that was not a coincidence, you know? And the blessings kept on multiplying in that unit. So there was a lot of breakthroughs for a lot of people. Your brother started buying beautiful cars. Your brothers got married. Your sisters got this. Everything started going well for so many family members in that unit. And now you're looking back and you're thinking that that was not a coincidence. You know, as an awakened soul, you're looking back and counting those times and remembering everything. Because I've told you guys, most of the times when you're awakened, you also remember so many things. So now you're looking back and you're thinking that that was not a coincidence, you know? You see, let me tell you something about your light. There is some people there's some people who have parasitic spirits. Now, your parents have got these spirits, okay? Because I've told you that this thing is a curse. So this whole curse has been sweeping through generations until your own generation. So it has been happening so many years ago. It has even nothing to do with those parents at the moment. It has just been a recurring situation, recurring trauma that has been flowing on and on in the unit. And most of the time, those people are not even aware of it. So, but you see, the thing is, the parents, they knew who you are at a very young age. So the parents, what they did, they had to sacrifice somebody. They had to sacrifice your soul. You know, there is something which I'm talking about, and people, they're like, how do you know this? You know, where do you get this information? Let me tell you something. When you're really chosen one, you will know. When you're really chosen one and you look through your situation, your life, you look back in time and you really understand your life, you remember who you are, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So basically, these parasitic spirits, they have been feeding off of your energy for a very long time. And even before we talk about this energy, you have to understand something, black sheep. You are most likely reincarnated souls. So the battle that you think you're fighting, this is a battle that you have already fought in your past life. So there have been already these things happening in your past life that you didn't even know. So it's like you came back here. Probably in that time you didn't finish your assignment, so you came back now. And you were like, I'm going to continue where I stopped. And you see, the same spirits that you've been fighting in your past lives, they're the same spirits that you're meeting on a daily basis, on a regular. So they're the same spirits you are seeing with these narcissists, with these wives you've been marrying, with these friends in school, with these churches, with these pastors, with these teachers, with these bosses at work, everywhere. So this thing is a continuation of the battles that you've already fought in your past life. And when you wake up, you're going to remember that, oh, now I finally get it. I finally understand why things have always been happening like this. Why have I been put in a very little box this entire time? For you to better understand these things, you have to put this whole thing in the spiritual perspective for you to clearly understand what is happening. Because if you try to understand it on the 3D, you're going to get lost. You usually get confused, okay? So you have to understand this thing on the spiritual perspective. I know, like I've said, not everybody is yet on that level. There are some people who still don't know even what I'm talking about. A lot of this information is confusing them. Like I've said, your time will come. When you wake up, you will know and you resonate with these things I'm talking about. Parasitic spirits, they know who you are. So these spirits also operate within using your parents. So the reason why you saw your parents, they never loved you from day one. They have refused to love you. It did not matter. Maybe you are most likely the most good-looking kid in the unit. The parents could not stand this light. Your parents could not stand this blessing. Your parents could not stand your anointing. They knew there was something with you. Because you see, these parasitic spirits, these spirits, Like I've told you, this whole thing is spiritual. So those spirits, they recognize a good soul. They recognize a beautiful soul. They recognize the light. So what they really do, they are going to fight you straight away from the time you are born. You might even have had some parents who attempted to throw you away in the pit latrine. I've seen a lot of times kids have been picked up from the pit latrine, you know. The place where I come from, there are some parents who had their children, mothers who had their children or whatever, and they went and threw their children in the pit latrine. And those children were rescued. Sometimes they were rescued from the sea, sometimes they were rescued from the bushes, sometimes they were rescued from the pit latrine. So those spirits have gone to work ever since you was a kid. This is why I want you guys to listen very closely. So they have been attacking you from day one. Because those spirits, they know the very moment you evolve from that age and into adulthood, you're most likely going to remember who you are. So they have been trying very, very hard to eliminate you, to stop you from progress and from growth, from growing. So when you've been seeing them blessed, you've been seeing a lot of these narcissistic parents, a lot of these whatever, toxic narcissistic parents, psychopathic parents. You've been seeing them driving very big cars and, you know, living in very big mansions. They have been feeding off of your light. So when they do all these dangerous things to you, when they have sacrificed you as a soul, they have sacrificed your soul. That is when they receive their blessings. So when they sacrifice you, they get blessed for that. It's the reason why when I started this video, I've told you, if you look back in years, you are going to see you were born. And in a couple of years, very big things started happening in that family. That is because you was put as a sacrifice. You were sacrificed. You were the sacrificial lamb of the family. Beautiful things started happening everywhere in your unit. Not to you, but to the people around you. Your big brothers, their businesses took off. They finished their school. While your father was refusing to send you to school, your big brothers and your other brothers were finishing their college degrees and universities and everything. They would apply for jobs they would get. While you were being denied jobs and being fired from work, there are other people in your families who are always getting the jobs. They would always get the work. They would always get the promotions. They would get married. They would have babies. They would start their own companies. A lot of things was happening because you were the sacrificial lamb in that family. It's the reason as to why you see a lot of black sheep, the black sheep of the family. The moment they discard that unit and get out of that unit, that is why you see very, very many horrible things start to happen in that unit. And the moment you leave, let me tell you even the most scariest part in this video. When you leave, those spirits, they are going to punish that narcissistic parent. So I will tell you this because I know it. They are going to punish that narcissistic parent. They are going to punish that narcissistic parent because they have not been able to do their job, and they have not fulfilled their job and their assignments of keeping you a slave and keeping you trapped in that unit, so that they could feed off of your light and your energy. They will be punished. They will lose their businesses. Their life will crumble. Their health will crumble. They will lose everything that they have. Everything that those spirits have awarded. Because you see, this is a reward. When they sell your soul as the black sheep, they call you sacrificial lamb for a reason. So when they sell your soul in that very young age, they are usually rewarded. So those parents are rewarded, and the other family members in those units, they are also rewarded for that. So that's the reason was why you see you are carrying a lot of karma on your head. So all the bad things that have been passed on from previous ancestors into that generation, all that karma, all that trauma is now on your head. So most of you guys have been asking yourselves, a lot of you black sheep, oh, why is this one was happening? Why did this one doesn't take off? Why are you suffering? The answer is, you are carrying a lot of karma that is not even yours. And you're carrying a lot of weight that is not even yours. So what they did, those parents, those narcissistic parents, they sacrificed you when you was a very young kid. If they have not even taken you out of it, they have not tried to kill you when you was a kid, they have sacrificed you so that they could get rewarded. Is the reason as to why you see a lot of times when you're leaving those units and you discard. If you want to know what I'm talking about and you're the black sheep of the family, I want you to wake up one day and I want you to make a decision to leave that unit. You're going to see what is going to happen in that unit. You will see what is going to happen. You will see people getting fired from work. You will see people getting demoted from jobs. You will see people losing their lives. You will see people falling sick. You will see people losing their homes. You're going to see a lot of things are starting to go down in that unit. That is because you have deleted and gotten your energy out of that unit. So the reason why you saw that your life at some point had failed to take off in the unit, that is because there were some people who were already tapped into your energy and they were feeding off of your energy. So these are parasitic spirits. They know your soul. They know that you've got a good energy with you. And they know that you've got a beautiful light and they need that light to survive. So you see, because I've told you guys, the reason why you hear this word floating around everywhere, energy vampires, this, whatever, psychic vampires. All these are parasitic spirits. They need the energy from the empaths to survive. That is how they thrive. When you can give them that energy, you'll get rewarded. So there's a reason as to why a lot of times the black sheep, you have gone through a lot of problems, during life. You've been struggling too much in your life and you couldn't understand why are you really struggling with things? Why do you feel that you cannot take off? The people around you are blessed. Okay? People around you, they're blessed. They're happy with life, they are surviving, they're living, everything is okay. You're the one that is not taking off. That is because the people around you, those brothers you call your brothers and sisters, all those are parasitic spirits. The wife in your bed is the parasitic spirit. The husband in your bed is a parasitic spirit. Some of even your children, they're parasitic spirits. So whenever they're around you, they're just sucking your energy, They're sucking energy from you, including the narcissistic parent at the top. Is the reason as to why a lot of times the black sheep, you are going to notice when you leave those units, those narcissistic family dynamics, the very first person that will most likely collapse is going to be the narcissistic parent at the top, because that was the person who was in charge of that assignment of sacrificing you and making you the sacrificial lamb from day one. That person is going to deflate. That person, their health will deteriorate. Some of them, they're even going to pass on within a couple of months. They're going to be reported dead in a couple of months. Is why I've told you guys this whole thing is serious. So you need to really try to understand this. This thing is serious. So it's not something is going to be out there. It's not something to joke around. It is a very serious issue. Those people is the reason as to why when you leave that unit and you get away, they are punished. They are going to try to suck you back in. They are going to send these family members, come back, this and this. They are going to try to convince you to come back in. They are not calling you back in the unit because they love you. They have never loved you from day one. They are only wanting you to be in that unit because they are feeding off of your energy. These are parasitic spirits. These are psychic vampires. So there is spirits that is operating within them that is using them to punish you and to destroy you. Because the longer you stay in the unit is the more they get rewarded. So a lot of the rewards that are coming on their side is the result of you being a part of that unit. Is the reason as to why you see a lot of these narcissists. When we talk about these narcissists, you see them, they keep on sucking, It's like they put a very big straw, They put this straw and they'll keep on sucking your energy on a daily basis. They are sucking, because that's how these evil spirits operate, and that's how they survive. And the person who is sucking that energy, most of the time they're going to be rewarded. Is the reason as to why you see most of the times when you're with this narcissist, even sometimes the narcissist. This is not only including the video with the black sheep and the narcissist family unit. It also spreads out to other situations in relationships and friendships and whatever. The person that is sucking that energy, they get rewarded. So they're also rewarded. They also have their own kingdom, the dark kingdom. We have got the kingdom of light, and there's also the kingdom of darkness. So the two kingdoms are fighting with each other. The earth angels are fighting these demons on a regular, on a daily basis. It has happened from day one, from the beginning of time. It is a continuation battle that has been happening on the planet for ages. So the person that is responsible for putting that straw and sucking that energy, those people normally they're rewarded. It's the reason as to why I've told you, most of the times, guys, you have to look around you. A lot of times when you're around these energy vampires, so those so-called narcissists and everything, because those parasitic spirits normally they hook themselves onto those onto those low vibrational people, narcissists and whatever, psychopaths and these other entities. A lot of those people, the moment they come into your life, the very moment they tap into your energy like this, they're going to take off. So they gravitate towards you. On the 3D, yes, these are the bodies. You see, the woman comes around, oh, they want to sleep with you, they want to date you, you look beautiful, oh, you're so handsome, and all these kind of things. In a few years, they take off. We're talking about years, we're talking about months. In a few months, they got a job promotion. All of a sudden, they started glowing. You see them with a smile on their face. You see them, they're all of a sudden happy. They have a lot of energy. The energy is coming from the empaths. So the empaths, I've told you guys, the empaths, you are the narcissist life support. You guys just don't know it. You have always been the narcissist life support. The moment you supply, you cut off those chains, those cables from your whatever, parents, narcissistic parents or narcissistic wife and husbands, that's when they're going to go down. They deflect. Because now they don't have any, they're like, okay, where can I get the energy from? They're fidgeting around. So you see, a lot of times those narcissistic parents, what they will do, they're going to run very quickly and they're going to bring in a new supply. So they're going to be looking around the other family members. Who can we very quickly fix? So for me, when I left the unit, there was another empath who was not even involved in the family for so many years. It was almost like more than 10 years. The last time they were engaged with the family, they were out there doing their own things. But there was a good guy, he's a good guy, he's an empath. In a very short period of time, in a couple of months, that empath was now back into the unit. The moment I left, the narcissistic parent now started plotting to bring the empath in the unit. So there was some kind of a replacement because they need an energy source to survive. And that source, that energy has got to come from an empath. It cannot be anybody else. It has got to come from an empath. So you have got to be an empath. Those people, they need those empaths. They need, so it's like they are, the energy they need to survive is coming from the empaths. That's what it is. The parasitic spirits, they are real. So they operate, like I've said, with your parents, within your parents. They're using your sisters, they're using your brothers, they're using your cousins, they're using your teachers in class, they're using your bosses in work, your pastors in churches. They're everywhere. Sometimes you'll see churches, a lot of churches, these pastors, they're going to see some members in the church and they're going to start getting very close to you, Oh, can you be they're going to start recruit you to be the ushers around the church, you know what I mean? So they're going to bring you very close so that they can grow their empire, So a lot of you guys who are the church goers, I'm not a church goer, I've already told you guys. So you guys need to stop asking me about these churches things and everything. A lot of you guys who are in the churches, you are going to see these pastors and the bishops, they are going to bring a lot of these souls in the church because they know, you know what I mean? They are going to drag in, they're going to bring in these souls very close to them. And they're going to use those souls to grow the church. In a few weeks, months, you're going to see the church taking off. Oh, all of a sudden, there's so many people coming because the church grows with the audience. You know, when there's a very big audience, the better for the pastors. Now they can start collecting money and buying for themselves those private jets and everything, and starting building those mansions because they need the crowds to pay for that. You know, so a lot of those people you see in those churches, pastors, all of them have got those parasitic spirits. Many of them, they have got those parasitic spirits. So they are parasites. You know, they just try to suck everything out of people and, you know, for their own benefits. You know, for their own growth and for their own benefits. And now you will see them now, they are going to start to grow. They are going to start to drive, riding, whatever, what do they call it? Private planes, building mansions, and the congregation, some of them are even homeless. A lot of the members who are coming in the church, they are homeless. And the homeless ones, they are the empaths. So you guys need to be very aware of this spiritual world, how it works. If you do not understand the spiritual world, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be very difficult for you to navigate through life, okay? So, the battle is real. That's what I'm trying to say, and it's all spiritual, okay? If you know it and I've said something in business with you in this video, let us know in the comment section below, especially the black sheep. I would like to know your side of the story. And until then, guys, I'll catch you guys in my next one. It's been a blessing to have you guys on board. Desamos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.